Namaste and welcome to Explore the Mysteries with Kira
and Sri. We are so delighted to be with you right now. And there is so much happening. And, one of the things that's happening right now, we started chatting about this earlier today. Sri and I were blessed beyond belief because today is the first Saturday of every month. And on the first Saturday of every month, we get the blessing of being with our Mastery Mentorship team live. Yes. For those who can join us live, it is a once a month gathering of the tribe, so to speak. And we're still, in all authenticity, we're still floating in the divine preciousness of that. We really are.
Yeah, it's things from the shoulders up are a little spacey.
Yes, they are. They really are. And it's interesting because August, hopefully by now you've watched our August predictions video. And if you have not, it is 11 minutes. We encourage you to use wisely and go ahead and please go to YouTube, official Sri and Kira, where you could be watching us right now, actually, and watch that video. And the reason we're mentioning that is August will be a moment where the ego is dancing as Kali Ma, and the ascended energy of Gaia that has come forward is so exquisite, so compassionate, so beauty-filled that many are trying to deny it. And,
yes.
So what's so beautiful is that, right now, it's funny, I'm not going to say we're being trolled, but we definitely have an energy in the Oneness Talk Radio chat room that I'm just loving because it's what we were starting to talk about this morning, this energy of denial that's out there and the use of language to call forward denial energy. And so we're going to talk a lot more about that because it is part of the August energy and how perfect that landed in our chat room just as we opened up today. Also, hopefully, Sri, where else are we broadcasting?
I was just checking. I said hello in the chat over at YouTube.
Hi, chat at YouTube.
So you'll catch the live video at Oneness Talk Radio's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You'll catch the live video at Oneness Talk Radio homepage right down the bottom. Click on the screen and you'll see it.
And what about Facebook?
Facebook is broadcasting.
Okay, because our beautiful being Adriana tells me it's not. So if somebody's at Facebook, let us know that it really was working. We'd be grateful. Also, I'm seeing that phone bank really fill up fast. 517-208-1500. Again, that is 517-208-1500. And give us a call. Get in the queue. You're unmuted. We are on air. And so if you call us, you will be able to listen to the show while we are connecting today. And so welcome, welcome, welcome. We love you so dearly, and we are so grateful that you are here.
It's a fabulous, fabulous time. And I just need to give you the launch and the context segue. We have just completed the retrograde.
Yes.
Yay, go team, go.
Hey, and last week, that's what we love. Here we are on Saturday. Remember that it bridged, right? And so what's so extraordinary is that we are in that shadow.
There is a little.
It is fascinating.
Savory retrograde left.
It is savory. That is so true.
But I, for one, feel more free, less friction.
Yeah.
And I want, I may be repeating something that has been said and resaid, but the last month had so many redos with technology failing, technology messing up, having to reassert ourselves. And that is a magic because through tenacity, we always get where we're going.
Yes, we do.
Sometimes there's a headwind, sometimes there's a tailwind. Either way, we're moving.
But we're in the middle of a big movement.
There it is.
And so we wanted to kind of open up the show today and show this to you. This is that if you were with us at the #LineageHolder event all last month, oh my goodness, and after Tuesday's culmination, which has led to a lot of what we're sharing over this weekend, this is a illustration, so to speak, of that vortal energy that is literally available to anyone who wants to allow that greater lift to be. In other words, what's happening right now is that the illusionary energy is so thick and goopy that the energy of denial has become greater than the energy of truth. And in that energy of denial, this is part of that fear dimension goop that we're going to be talking about in just a moment. And the blessing of this is that it is gifted every single being with an opportunity to really ignite through the divine presence that they are. And sometimes we ignite in different dimensions. And that's what's happening right now, is that you're seeing an ignition of the third dimension. You're seeing an ignition of the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth, and the ninth. All of these are igniting together. So, of course, everything is expanding together. You don't have to try and keep up with it all. If you do, you're sure not to. And I think that's part of where this denial has come from, is that it's very, very whelming for a lot of people.
You know, denial is a very useful trick of the egoic psychology. Anything I don't want to look at, I just deny it.
Right, or I just say I've transcended above it,
you know,
without healing it.
That's another form of denial.
Exactly. I know a lot of great language.
You know, and I've witnessed this, you know, it's kind of the classic preteen trick.
Yeah, it's great.
And when your parent asks you something, I'll just tell a lie. You know, I try that out until I'm caught anyway.
Or sometimes even when you are caught.
And when the lie works, you go, oh, okay, I got that tool in my pocket. Well, you have plenty of grown-ups that are working with that tool of I'll just tell a lie because it serves my, and that's the problem with the mind. The mind makes a great tool, but it should not be in charge of everything.
Well, the blessing is that everyone, every being is absolutely doing exactly what they need to be doing. And this is why Shri and I just released a very power-filled article. Please go read this article. It's called Polarity and Consciousness. It is very much about the expansion of what's happening right now through this illusionary co-created experience. And so it's right here at onenesstalkradio.com. If you go to onenesstalkradio.com, right up across the top, you will see the tabs, and there's a tab that says Oneness, where all of our hosts put articles. Our article happens to be the most recent. It is right there. If you see the Oneness tab and you mouse over it, it will open up some sub-tabs. Click on articles. It's right there. Please read this article, because the article says a lot of things that we feel are important for those of you that really want to dive into this more, because the consciousness energy on the planet right now is being challenged, and many are trapped within the trap. And this is often intellectualizing, where we must abandon our energy of attachment into the expansiveness of beyond the ego. And if we are attached to a point of view, if we are attached to only one perspective of being, then no matter how ascended it appears, it is limiting us. And August is the rise of the Ascended Mother. August came forward because of this ignition, which we're going to talk about this afternoon, and which we were so honored to experience with our Mastery Mentorship group this morning. And Shri, I think we should talk about what happened Tuesday, because you know, we're talking about this fear dimension. We're going to talk about how it's affecting everything. We have, if you're watching us on video, we have a lot of slides to show you, and we do have a video that's coming up, but we held it because of this prime cosmic meridian experience, which we're going to be sharing with you today as well.
And so just because curious minds are wanting to be curious.
Always.
On Tuesday, which was our final LineageHolder journey, traveling with that fabulous group of souls.
Incredible.
Who have committed to help uplift humanity as they uplift themselves.
Yes.
We were given a practice to... Well, let me back up for a second. We were given the recognition and the awareness that the fifth dimensional energy, and the fifth dimension is the first stopping point. When you begin to lift out of density, 3D, we kind of pause at the fifth dimension, and that's where we get clarity. It's that detachment. It's that place of witnessing. And so the fifth dimensional energy used to be filled with compassion and clarity, and it's beginning to erode.
Now, we started talking about this on the air a few weeks ago, and we also talked about this in Lineage Holders, but what happened after the second Lineage Holder journey was that the revelation of the 2 prime cosmic meridians was gifted to Shri and I, along with the practice on how to clear them. We were told how many times it needed to be done to master, what would happen if it did that way. And there were only 4 people who knew about it. And it was Shri, myself, Susan Sturdivant, and another woman whose name we're withholding for her privacy, who was with me when this happened. And we all were blessed to get those 4 days in before the final lineage holder gathering, where we were very clearly told to gift it there. But now, since then, we know it's for everybody who wants to connect. And so we are going to be sharing that with you.
And so here's the recognition that came forward, is that as people are lifting out of the subject-object, polarized, conflictual, fear-based 3D, they need a respite. They're lifting into the 5th and then the 7th and then the 9th dimensional consciousness. And because so many people have unconscious fear, they are unconsciously trying to carry that up. And that is where the challenge comes. So what the practice is about is releasing the fear that's carried in your meridian system, which is your central crystalline meridians.
These are not the meridians of traditional acupuncture and Chinese medicine. These are 2 very specific, and they are known as the cosmic prime meridians. Now, every single being has the opportunity to open these crystalline gateways, but the kind of like the self-locking device is the fact that you cannot even begin to clear this congestion, which actually does free you from the illusion. And it's this beautiful simultaneous boom, 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 right? And Shri, let's put up the witnesser graphic, because what happens is that in that moment, when you clear the cosmic prime meridian blockage, that 3rd dimensional being, that's the inquirer, the questioner, the one that has to keep debating the question over and over and over again, that is a 3rd dimensional spirituality that can lift you into the 5th dimension as the witnesser, where you can begin questioning the questioner, right? And then when we lift up into the 7th, we begin witnessing, which is where we lose all need to justify. We lose all need to own that which is around our belief systems. And in the 9th dimension, we become the witness again at a whole other level. And the reason that it's so important to talk about this is because in August, this propulsion that has come from Gaia herself in response to our outpouring and in response to all of the energies that have been building, this is an opportunity for anyone. But in order to claim it, you have to, and forgive me for using the words have to, and this is just one way. I'm not saying it's the only way, but I'm saying that if this resonates with you, in order to get on this ride, this has to open. And we're going to share a lot more about that in the second half of the show. And I just want to give a shout out to everybody in all the chat rooms and to everybody that's watching us. And I also want to give a shout out to TFR Live. I think I forgot to mention to them earlier. Of course, we are broadcasting there. And to that call board, because I'm feeling that we need to jump into the call board soon, Shri.
And so as we leave this topic for the moment, because we are going to guide you through the practice.
We have a lot to share and about the sphere dimension.
You know how when you recognize something, you kind of go, oh, it's been there the whole time.
Well,
it's like that with this, call it cellular fear. It's the fear in the crystalline DNA that has come through so many lifetimes of stimulation that when we individuated, there was a fear. And so this fear, as now that we have a practice to learn how to clear this and to resolve it, we're receiving wonderful feedback from people about how buoyant they're feeling, how this is immediately creating results.
Shri, let's do this because we have so many emails.
Let's share.
So let's go to one of those emails because it's hard to even pick. I staged so many, but it's just incredible. So here's one. Let's just start right here because I have to admit the art grabbed me. It's actually one of the newer ones that's come in. I have quite a few other staged, but I just found this one beautiful, and we will get this art posted up at Oneness Talk Radio for sure.
Well, this the subject line is Paintings from Our Journey.
Now, this is, of course, in reference to the hashtag LineageHolder journey, which is what this show is dedicated to every Saturday, to really coming together and updating that lineage holder energy.
And she writes, Namaste, Shri and Kira. I would just like to thank you for the last amazing lineage holder journey from the bottom of my heart. I really felt my mastery.
Yes.
Healing tears drip slowly, first from my left eye, during the right. Sorry, my mind was ahead of the words. Healing tears drip slowly, first from my left eye, parentheses live webinar. This is where I hiccuped up, and then from my right eye, at the video when she did the rewatch.
I love the balance. Yeah.
I got several huge insights. That I have known Shri in a past life. That my Parkinson's disease that I got in 2007 is actually an Ascension symptom that I will heal by the end of this year or next year if I live fully in my mastery.
Right on.
Some insights regarding relationships, like the man I've seen this year, has been harder to fully feel in all of my bodies. My emotional body is still in love with him, and I don't want to finish the relationship. Do you have any advice on how to handle it when your spirit says one thing and your emotions say another? I would like to share the paintings I made right after the journey. I will add them in at Oneness Talk Radio, but if you like them, I'm happy if you will share them. So we can't really share them here on the...
We didn't get your email forwarded to us in time, but look, guys, doesn't it look like the colors even match what we were showing you today? Yeah, pretty awesome.
Yeah, there's another one
They're
here.
they're stunning. They're stunning. They will be Linda's. Hopefully her name is Linda. Linda, hopefully you're getting these up at Oneness, and if you can't get them up on your own, let us know.
Posted.
We'll make sure they get up because they are beautiful. So, Shri, let's go back and really look at her question.
Well, there's a couple pieces here that are really important. You know, one of them is she talks about the Parkinson's disease. Well, Parkinson's disease, from a density standpoint, is a person who is opposed to their divinity, opposed to the notion of God as they were instructed what God was. So there's a conflict between the authentic knowing and then the dogma and the belief systems. And this conflict hits the brain at the seventh chakra and starts to create a Morse code kind of effect, a back and forth, and thus the tremors and the balance issues. When we begin to move into a more ascended point of view, ascended frequencies, what we realize is it's still a little bit that way, meaning I have my direct connection with the divine, but my historical connection is still creating friction.
Yes.
And the healing journey is to resolve those subconscious hidden belief patterns that have accepted dogmatic points of view and just be in the flow of a spiritual reality.
And I think we should share your story, because this goes back to when Shri and I first met. And the reason I want to share it is because we have 17 years later and he is still healed. And when I first met Shri, he, the very first time we met, if you've read our book, Sacred Union, The Journey Home, we met in Sedona. He's offloading the car and out comes the CPAP machine because he had to sleep with a machine. And I was stunned. And I was like, okay, I mean, of course I love you, but I was like shocked. And what we discovered is that, well, why don't you share what happened?
Well, okay, so the CPAP machine is to help keep a constant airflow during sleep. And when I moved into my sacred union with Kira, all of a sudden my air passages relaxed. I began to inhale and exhale more freely. Now, that's the key thing. When we are living in alignment with our authenticity, in this case with my authentic partner, that is a healing experience.
And it's safe because you're not hiding anything. There is nothing to choke you. There is no congestion in your throat chakra or your sixth. Because remember, a CPAP machine is affecting 5 and 6 very deeply. It also goes down into the heart with the lungs. I mean, we can talk about all, and look at the rise in sleep apnea. It's because
lots of diagnoses now.
Lots and lots of people addicted to these machines. And I also want to talk about the lineage aspect. Every one of his brothers and sisters also has a CPAP machine, and he's the youngest. So it was like, well, of course he would get one. So look at all of that.
Not to be left out.
In less than 1 week,
Yeah.
he went from using this machine to never having to use it again to this day.
17 years later, I haven't
Yeah.
touched it, and
Yeah.
my snoring has decreased, my comfort and ease of, sleep is a surrender. And one
Yeah.
of the issues is to be able to relax into that surrender, that releasing control and move into
Right.
the other state of consciousness we call sleep. And so it's important to recognize that your respiratory system has a great connection with your feelings of safety. If you're angry or upset, guess what? Asthma. Remember childhood asthma? The kids, I'm not happy with my parents. Next thing you know, they can't breathe. That's a very simple connection, and one that I think most people can kind of go, yeah, I get it.
Right.
So the ability to breathe and relax has everything to do with feeling safe in your life and feeling an absence of fear, or a reduction of fear. And for me, that healing event was the finding and bonding fully with my sacred partner.
And so think about how many of us we're literally let ourselves get sick, which is a gift, because the physical body, Archangel Zadkiel says this so beautifully, right? The ultimate lie detector is your physical body, because your brain will lie to you, but your body won't. Your body will show you what you're hiding. And all of us are carrying bodies that are connecting in this way right now. I know there's a lot of us that are not carrying bodies connecting in other ways, and I always enjoy that beautiful community as well. And so the gift that we can offer each other in August is to love ourselves as that ascended mother, and to ignite this lift energy. This is called a vortal. What is a vortal? A vortal is a combination of a vortex and a portal. This has spun. Wow, I cannot. Interesting. Who's sending me? Stop it. I feel you are. And you're not going to get through. So forgive me, my throat chakra was under attack for a moment. So let's start again. This is a vortal. And it is a combination of a vortex and a portal. And it was sent to us from beloved Mother Gaia.
Yes.
Beloved Mother Gaia. And she has lifted this energy up from her very foundational core. And think about the core in June, right? The core gathering, the center of resurrection energy. And so she has sent up this ray, she has sent up this energy that met with this spinning vortex energy that's open to the fifth dimension, thereby creating this vortal. And it is available on an individual basis to lift you like this beautiful supportive escalator or elevator, so that we can more easily stay in the fifth dimension. Because when we're in the fifth dimension, we don't need to debate nothingness, because that is a mind trap. And so when we are in the fifth dimension, we, as ascended mothers, as ascended beings of light and love, are able to open up with great compassion for the experience of density, beginning with ourselves. We can discover self-love at a greater range. We can walk into self-forgiveness. And that is why I have to stop and say, if you have not registered to be with this man in August, shame on you. and the only reason I'm saying that is he really needs time off, guys. But because of what happened with the lineage holders and all the things that have been pouring in and all of the emails we've been getting, Shri is doing three succinct healing protocols over 4 sessions. Some of them are only 1 session, where in that 1 session, you will not only heal yourself, you will learn and be able to apply this protocol with others. So please, it's called the Ascended Healers Toolkit. And I'm sorry, I don't want to embarrass you, but it starts Tuesday.
We start next Tuesday evening, 5 p.m. Pacific time, and I do encourage you to join in, because we are at a time where if we do not resolve those latent congestions that our bodies are carrying, our psychology and our emotions are carrying, if we continue to deny that they're there, you're going to have a great challenge walking through all the polarity and friction that's being put in the world, and trying to hold an ascended point of view while also dealing with these frictions. And so there are ways that you can liberate and resolve those easily, painlessly, and efficiently.
Woohoo!
It does take a little bit of focus and following a technique, and I'm delighted to be able to share those techniques with you starting next Tuesday and for the next 4 Tuesdays. So go to SriAnkara.com, click on events, you'll find the Healer's Toolkit there.
It's right on the homepage, too.
Join if you can. Watch the videos later if you can't join live. This is a one-time opportunity to be involved in a good way with the healing journey.
Because August is that big. August is going to be demanding, and I think we're just about getting ready. I want to share that for those of you at TFR Live, we're going to go away for a few minutes, and when we come back, we will be really speeding up this conversation. For those of you that are listening and or watching anywhere, what we want to talk about right now is kind of our bonus time,
Absolutely.
right? Okay. So part of this little bonus time that we want to share with you is that in this Kali Ma rising of August, this is not about chopping off our heads, but it is about recognizing that the density experience is going to throw a tantrum, because when something feels it's not getting your attention, it especially if it's in a realm of me, then they make it even more about me. It gets even bigger.
And I'm just saying goodbye to TFR. We'll be right back after the commercials. And for everyone else listening, we're right here with you.
We are.
No commercials.
And it's getting bigger.
You know, I apologize. I was kind of watching the countdown monitor over here.
Yeah.
It's important to recognize that we have all had multiple lifetimes. And the residue of those lifetimes creates residual fear imprints and other kinds of imprints as well that are often carried forward into the next lifetime. And I was just had my own little flashback moment there where I was remembering how until your consciousness embraces and loves that which has gone before, that which has gone before will wait. It'll either wait in hiding to pounce, or it'll wait in the closet as denied information. And so it isn't about saying I must know everything. What it is about saying is I'm willing to be at peace with my life. And what does it take to be at peace with your life, peace with the universe, peace with all beings? Well, it takes an ample dose of love directed to yourself.
Whew, yes.
So that then the journey can be one of harmonious interaction with all that is. And I guess maybe I'm still kind of back at the Healer's Toolkit, but I'm also at the reality of what's going on here in August is that we have an opportunity to take the resolutions of July, what was revealed in
Remember, July was about resolution. You'll know where you stand. I know we had a lot of revelations.
And the energy of the kind of assertive, empowered, ascended mother energy, which says, get on with it. Let's do this. You know, the loving mother might let their child feel a little bit wobbly because the mother trusts that the child will walk through that moment, whatever that moment of fear is. Well, if you're having any of those moments of fear, trust yourself to know that inside of you is the ascended mother, father, and the higher being that you truly are.
I love this. And, you know, I love that, you know, the ascended mother, father, because remember, this energy of the ascended mother is not about gender. This is very much about compassion. And the reason that Gaia has sent up this extraordinary energy that has become this vortal opportunity is because of the compassion. Because, and I want to wait till we're back at TFR Live, but as soon as we get back at TFR Live, we're going to start talking about the fear dimension and how this fear dimension has come forward, because this fear dimension is within the illusion a co-creative experience. So remember that just because we wake up to the recognition that this is an illusion, that does not excuse us from participation. Every thought you have is participating, even if the thought is about nothingness. And so you might as well have fun. And this is certainly each individual's choice. every individual can expand in the way that they are here to do. You know, Archangel Zadkiel, I believe we have this in Sacred Union, The Journey Home, or otherwise it's in 2012, You Have a Choice, where Zadkiel talks about that every single being will ascend exactly as they were intended to do so by coming here. And so when we can take that kind of stress off of us, that self-induced worry of density that says, but what if I do it wrong? Or what if they do it wrong? What if my mother, brother, daughter, sister, friend, colleague, whatever does it wrong? The recognition is you cannot do it wrong. However, knowing that you cannot do it wrong is not an excuse to do nothing. Because in that moment, what you are doing, as you just mentioned, Shri, is you're literally saying, I am so cool with the density experience, I'm just going to hang back and do it over and over and over and over again. And that is 100% okay. And if you say, hey, I've woken up to what this is, I'm feeling pretty complete here, then there are some things that you do that are responsible, because when we reach a level of awareness, remember, it all begins with awareness. Yes. When we reach a level of awareness where we are aware of the awareness, then we recognize that awareness is what expands into our experience, which brings us to a choice, which brings us to new awareness, experience, choice. This is a choice month. And are we back at TFR?
We are back, and
Namaste,
they're
back at our choice month. Right.
It's important to recognize that all paths are spiritual paths,
yes.
even if they are so seemingly atheistic or have other words.
Every being has a right to their journey. Everybody has a right to their journey.
As our beloved Gandhi said, there are as many religions as there are people.
Yes.
So it's important to recognize that every being is going to fulfill their journey in the way that they chose to fulfill it.
Right.
And many beings are choosing to relax their own self-inflicted paradigms of rigidity and open to a more refined level of truth.
Right.
And this is where the journey is both terrifying and fun.
Well, let's talk about that, because we're gonna introduce talking about the fear dimension today. We're gonna take some phone calls, and then we're gonna offer you an opportunity to ignite, and we're going to do it again tomorrow, to ignite your prime cosmic meridians. And even if you think this is all malarkey, play along with us and notice if you feel anything when we do it. And so first and foremost, I want to put up, is this it, Shri, right here? Yes, it is. Okay. What is this funkadelic photograph or energy? And if you're listening to us, we're going to explain what we just put up. What we just put up is a literal representation, to the best of our ability, to create what they are showing us when Shri and I receive this information from the divine directors. And what the information that we have been shown is that if you look in the very center, what you're seeing is one of those drops of water, right? When a drop hits the water, it makes the splashback.
Yeah.
And so that's in that very center. What's important to notice here is that you see those little bouncing back up from the water is like, it's almost like lots of little bubbles holding each other's hands. It almost looks like a beautiful community of light, like there's just this beautiful community of light with their arms outstretched holding that. Well, that is very much similar to the LineageHolder energy, and that is what these vortals are. Those are those vortals that you can claim that will keep you out of the density. Now, in there, like if you were looking down into this drop of water, down there is density having the time of its life. The third dimension right now is entrapped, it's encapsulated. And so it can only see the third dimension. And with this 5G energy, and we're going to talk more about that tomorrow, and a few other things that are happening on the planet, the intention within the world of density is to make it really hard to even remember that you forgot. And I want you to really take that in, because as much as Shri and I are talking about moving from the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and up, the 3rd is saying stir that cement. And remember, come
this
past week, that's what happened. That cement, that stick is now there. So that energy is strong, it's supported, and it's having the time of its life. But it is literally the center of a storm. because that watery energy that you see around it, and if you're gazing at this picture here, you'll see there's what looks like water, and then there's what look like these kind of like snaky energies. That is literally the planetary thought body that has now melted into the lower fourth dimensional collapse and literally has called forward this goopy energy that we, the divine directors, refer to as the fear dimension. Now, here's the good news. It's not a quote unquote real dimension, but it is real if you own the fear that is seeking to keep you trapped. And this is why, and I just switched the graphic, this is why we are being called to release the blockages of our prime cosmic meridians. And we're gonna leave this graphic up for a moment, Sri, and just if you want to just connect with it, maybe you can explain what they're looking at, Sri.
Well, the first thing that struck me as I looked at this beautiful graphic was how many headdresses, how many symbolic representations of this energy have been deposited on this planet through the millennia, through ancient civilizations, this or similar. But what you're looking at here, the blue star is positioned at the area on the forehead we refer to as star consciousness, which is an actual energy portal. And this is a direct connection to your soul energy, and this is a direct connection to the pineal. And that the star consciousness is that place. Well, let me say it this way. The sixth chakra, which is associated with intuition and clairvoyance and such, very much is about being able to look beyond the surface. However, it's also very much tied to the body's chakra systems and kind of tends to be earth-centric. You can see beyond, but it tends to bring information into the earth-centric system. Whereas star consciousness is a place of peace. It is not associated with the third dimension, yet is accessible. And as we ignite our star consciousness, we are truly igniting our soul's memories and energy and trust. Now, on either side of that star, you see the two white lines. Those represent those prime meridians. And these are not the body's meridians. These are the cosmic energy channels that are left and right side of the central portal of energy. So we will be talking more about this when we do the practice, but we want to give you an idea where it is.
And remember that these are not the meridians that are in your body. These are the two prime cosmic meridians that are there. This energy has always been there, waiting for you to activate. And that star that's in the middle of this is your star consciousness. So, Sri, I want to, now that we've kind of talked a little bit about what's going on with that, we're bringing it all together. The week ahead is massive, guys. Remember, when the rise of the Ascended Mother comes, it's because there's the child having the tantrum. That child is very much the ego, which is why the Ascended Mother is coming as Kali. And so there are so many metaphors, so many energies, and that's why this is a big 2-show weekend. But speaking of big, there's so many people holding at the call board. All right, so we're going to begin right up here. It looks like we're going to Billings, Montana. Namaste, Billings, Montana. Welcome to the show.
Namaste, Sri and Kira.
Hi.
Thank you so much. My name is Donna.
Hi, Donna.
And I just am so appreciative of what you both do and what you provide, and all the training and education and knowledge that you share. It's just been a mind-blowing experience for me, and definitely transformational. And I can't express my gratitude and appreciation enough for everything that you both are doing. I just finished the LineageHolder with you, and I'm signed up for Sri's class coming up on healing, and I'm so excited. And I would love a mini soul reading and any guidance that you have to give me as I'm stepping out with my own gifts and being more authentic and not hiding.
Oh, beautiful angel. Sri and I know we're both sitting here feeling it. The entire time you were sharing, I just felt joy. And then I kid you not, I literally heard this very old song from Diana Ross called "I'm Coming Out" start singing, and it was you, and you were like, this song was playing and you're dancing and people are happy, and they're saying, let your dream manifest. This is the moment. And that the angels are singing and those around you are paying attention. And they're saying that as you let go of any remaining self-doubt, because I am feeling your third chakra, as you let go of any remaining self-doubt, the rest will flow effortlessly. And so thank you for opening up this energy for all of us today. I love you so much, honey. It's such a gift to talk to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I love you both.
Namaste.
I'm so grateful.
So are we.
Namaste.
Thank you, honey.
Blessings, dear.
Sri, who's next? It looks like we're going, is that
goodness.
Westchester, maybe, New York? I don't know. It's a wireless caller in New York. Namaste, wireless caller in New York.
Yes, hi. I also participated in the LineageHolders, and it was incredible.
Thank you.
And I'm Venus, and I would love also the soul reading, the mini reading.
Well, thank you, honey. And I just want to share with you that I'm really enjoying connecting with you right now. And as I'm connecting with you, what I'm experiencing is this golden foot, like your feet have these very, very thin layers of gold on them. And I'm seeing you, and it's almost like you're an embodiment of Kuan Yin, yet, and you're doing all these beautiful mudras, and there's this water that's coming out of your crown chakra and coming in all around you. And they're saying that this is the abundant flow of the ascended presence of who you are. And they're saying as you allow this energy to simply come back in, bring your breath in deeply, exhale with the smile of the universe, and walk forward with, they're just saying walk forward with clarity. And it's just like, it is done. It is done. And so it is. Thank you, my angel. Namaste.
Thank you.
No,
And,
thank you, honey. Sri
line
had
had-
to mute you because
line
the
had a
line.
little-
We're so sorry. All right, Sri, it looks like we're going to Colorado Springs. Hey, Colorado Springs, namaste.
Hi. Oh
Hi.
my gosh, I got through.
You
Unbelievable.
did.
Hi, this is Monica.
Hi. Hi,
Also
sweetheart.
lovely to connect with you guys.
Mm.
Yeah, so I've been taking part in the ME certification, the LineageHolders, and I've signed up for the upcoming classes, and I'm very, very grateful for your gifts that you're sharing with the world. And I'm looking forward to doing my part to help others and use these skills in my business. And I'm at a crossroads, and I very much connect with the Kali Ma energy as well, and I was wondering if there was a message for me.
Wow. Well, Angel, I love, of course you got in today. It's funny. I don't have my glasses on. And for people who know me, they know I have like no vision without my glasses, at least not in density. Your call-in registration has had this wavy, bright energy around it, which is why we picked it. And what I'm seeing as I connect with you now, listening to you, is that your heart is fluttering. And it's like I'm seeing this fluttering heart. And what I mean by that is there's this beautiful wave of clarity, recognition, knowing. And it's like that rides on this very thin remnant of doubt. And that thin remnant of doubt is what's pushing it so that it's not as steady and rich. And they're saying that this is the moment for you to be aware of the experience of that so that the choice before you is made from the perfect center of your divine presence. And they're saying that by the middle of this month, and it's really interesting because the retrograde shadow ends August 15th. It's like by the middle of this month, it's like you hit that crossroad and I see you standing there and you're laughing because it's just so obvious. And so thank you for that beautiful blessing for all of us. We just love you so much, sweetheart.
Oh, Oh, thank you. I love you too, guys. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Many blessings.
Whew, I don't know about you, but my wow, breathing is getting challenging just a little bit. It really is. And guys, I want to go back for a moment and share. Let's. I'm looking at the time here. How does the show go so fast? So
it keeps happening.
What we're going to do is we're going to just teach you a little bit about this activation. We'll go back, try to take a few more people from the call board, and then we're going to close with this activation today. And join us tomorrow. We'll do it again, because this activation, as was gifted to the planet by the divine directors, came with the specific instruction. And tomorrow we're going to talk a whole lot more about this and how Gaia created it, how Gaia herself is talking to those who will hear her. And for those of us that are hearing her, and here at Tosa Blue Mountain, oh my gosh, I didn't even tell you this, Shri. Right before we got on the air today, I walked out on our balcony and we were having these beautiful breezes. And for the first time ever, our fig tree sounded like it was whistling.
Oh, wow.
It sounded like music. So much so that I literally got up on the balcony and was like, who is here? Who is whistling? And this fig tree, which probably has, I don't know, 300 figs on it right now, getting ready to be picked, was planted there years and years ago, because the indigenous lore here is that if you have a fig tree in your courtyard, it is your grand protector. And when Shri and I bought this house, it was almost dead. And this is going to be our second multi-hundreds harvest since we moved in.
Yeah, it's been flourishing.
In 2 years. Yeah. Very interesting, huh?
Yeah. And then the figs do represent that sweetness of life and the ability to be resilient.
Yeah. So let's talk about opening those cosmic meridians. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and pop on the graphic again, but it doesn't matter if you're not seeing the graphic. What I want you to do right now is take your thumb and your middle finger from both hands. Bring your hands to heart center, and I'm going to pop back to the live camera so you can see that. And you have your hands at heart center, and we're just open touching thumb and middle finger. And what we're doing is we're wanting to activate the prime meridian of our physical body, because it is the sacred union. It is the full acceptance of that. And then as we're activating that, I'm going to stare right into the camera for those of you that are watching us. And you see I'm wearing a headpiece today. That headpiece is the expression of my star consciousness. And it's amethyst and lots of other jewels in there. And star consciousness exists above our third eye. It's about 1.5 inches above our third eye. And what we're going to do is we're first going to just ignite our star consciousness right now. So we're not going to do anything else with the meridians. And so if you have someone you're with right now, you can be doing this with them. Or if not, Shri and I will stare right into the camera, and please do it with one of us. So having ignited our thumbs and our middle fingers, we're going to go ahead right now and we're going to take one hand, the right hand, middle finger, and we're going to place it on our third eye, and we're going to lift our left hand up. And we're going to feel coming into our left hand a ray of light, a strong beam of light. Just feel it filling your hand, filling your hand, filling your hand. And you might want to just do like a little small spiral on your third eye. And in just a moment, we're going to take a breath. And when we breathe in, we're going to lift the finger until we lock into the area of star consciousness. You'll feel it. So breathe in. Exhaling as you've arrived at your star consciousness. Now, star consciousness, if this is the first time you're igniting it, you might feel a little tender here. You might have just felt like a magnetic pulse. Star consciousness is your cosmic third eye. It is the one that assists you. Remember that the star consciousness, the third eye of this world, when it's opened, it assists us to travel, but it is a navigation device to open up to greater consciousness of third dimensional experience. When we lift up into star consciousness, we literally have that inner elevator that takes us from density up into the multidimensional spaces. So now that we've done this, you might want to tap, 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 tap. You might want to be doing a few little circles. There we are. And now let's bring those hands back. Now that we've opened up our star consciousness, and we're going to do touch, release, touch, release, touch, release. Okay. And we're going to take in a breath. And Spirit's telling me to keep going, so we're going to keep going. They're all here, and they're saying to keep going. So now what we're going to do is, you feel those electric pulses, and if you don't, just pretend you do. In just a moment, when we take in that breath, we're going to release and put both of these middle fingers right at the eyebrow point on the inside of the nose. So let go, breathe in, exhale. And you'll see we're right here, okay, at the inside, right where your eyebrow meets the bridge of the nose, and we have those two middle fingers there. And you may want to do little spirals, tap, 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 little spirals. This is the base point of the 2 cosmic prime meridians when we begin to open them, aligning with star consciousness. And so just when with both of your fingers here, notice if you're already even feeling physical sensations. Just notice it. You don't need to understand it. Just notice it. And now what you're going to do is take your left hand, move it up, bring your right hand to your third eye. And in just a moment, when we breathe up again, we're going to go right back up and lock in at that star consciousness. Breathe up and lock. Whoo, there it is. And now, on your next breath, you're going to move to the right just enough, and you'll find the point. It'll be a direct straight line from that point at the eyebrow. If you were to go straight up, that is the prime meridian. That is the first one that you clear. We always clear the right side first. Why? Because remember, our hemispheres are flipped. The right side cosmic prime meridian is freeing the left brain. So we have to finish freeing the left brain to really clear those congestions. And so again, you might want to be tapping little circles. Go back to your star consciousness. Breathe in, relax, release. And then we're going to go back. We're going to do the same again. So tap, tap, tap. Bringing those fingers in. Activate, activate, activate. Now you're going to bring that left hand to the third eye, holding up the right hand. We're going to breathe up to star consciousness. And then we're going to come over to the left. Woo, you'll feel it. And remember, this is a straight line. And this is where, if I show you the graphic, you see that? It's a straight line up on either side of the star consciousness. Now, I suspect many of you are already feeling this. And if you were with us at the Lineage Holders Gathering, you've already almost got this done. To anchor this vortal that has been gifted to all of humanity through a co-creative process with Gaia, and tomorrow we're going to talk all about that, and the week ahead, and the Kali Ma ego trials that will be in front of everybody. But in order to do that, you need to offer to yourself, if you want, the ignition of your prime cosmic meridians. Now, the divine directors say that if you do this practice we just taught you 3 times a day, 4 days in a row, for 12 days total, you anchor this. And that means it's going to get a whole lot easier. And so whether you're catching us live, whether you're catching us in the archives, whether you're catching us 10 years from now and you are finding this for whatever reason, you are ready to anchor this energy. This energy cannot die. It simply waits for us to wake up to it. And we are at a very profound wake up moment.
A profound wake-up moment means that the energies of the now are conspiring with your deeper soul intent.
Yes.
And this is what's beautiful. You know, years ago, we let go of wearing watches on our wrists.
And that was at Archangel Zadkiel's insistence, and we are so grateful. That was like that was 17 years ago. We let go of watches, I think, pretty much as soon as we got together,
And Zadkiel taught a lot about the false gods, the false god of time, and trying to segment your life based upon these time slices and appointments and commitments and such. And there are many other false gods. The thing about that, the reason I'm bringing it up right now, is that time is not the measure of when something is ready. Timing is. So let's consider that. Timing is like the seasons. There is a planting time, there's a harvesting time. And whether that cycle of planting or harvesting or going dormant, it's irrelevant. If you are in your cycle, you might be in a dormant cycle and be waking up at a different time than your neighbor.
Well, and you know, that brings me to a comment we just got. Yeah. And we just got a comment from someone who was interesting. They weren't blaming the lineage holder, but they're like, well, I've had so many other experiences and I didn't have any experiences with the lineage holder. Why is that? And then we've had other people that have written and said, hey, you know I'm having an experience, but help me understand what it is because it's not coming in the way it used to come. And so the reason we're sharing this with you is what you just said. What we just did through the lineage holder experience is so vast and so far beyond the mind of linear time that if you feel that you have not yet had that experience, go deep within your heart and invite Kali Ma to come and gaze at the part of the ego that is not ready to dance with that energy. And then decide what you want. Remember, August is the month of choice. Maybe you need to be dancing with that other energy. Maybe that is exactly where you need to be. There's no success or failure. There's just alignment. There is an opportunity and an experience for everyone. And if you really say, no, I want to know, show it to me, you'll be blown away at what just the simple step of commanding the light reveals. Oftentimes, and especially for those that have had vast experiences before, the reason that you perceive you're not having the experience now is because you haven't commanded it. You're still carrying victim consciousness. And so pay attention to that, because the victim would say, why not? The victim would say, but everything else worked, why not this? The victim would say, it's you, not me. And the minute you command and say, wait a minute, I know that there was an extraordinary experience. Show me. That's the choice to become the master, and that's when it gets even better.
Nothing is ever lost.
No.
So if in a moment you say, I didn't get that joke, or I didn't get that opportunity for growth, well, then revisit it.
Exactly.
You can get it whenever you're ready to be
Yes. I love it. And beloved angels, this is the gift, is it not? As August is here, we are going to be invited to trust more than we have ever had to trust. And I know that the word trust can start sounding like a whiny wheel, but when we started the Lineage Holders Tuesday night, we offered a quote, and I'm going to share it with all of you too, and just give you a minute to decide who you think wrote this. And so, would you like to read it, Sri?
I'll be happy
All right,
to.
there's the quote. We're not going to tell you who wrote it yet. Just take a moment.
To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment.
To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. And as I shared with the Lineage Holders Tuesday night, this was actually on our pillow when we stayed at a hotel recently, and I loved it so much I brought it with me. And are you ready? Who said it?
Ralph Waldo Emerson.
I don't know if that blew your mind, but it sure blew ours. And we really wanted to share that with you because August is going to have a lot of contrast.
And we want to say goodbye to TFR folks and iHeartRadio that's plugged in with them. We are glad to be with you.
We love you.
And for the rest of us, we got a little moment of wind down here as we want to just honor and respect and really bow to you because you make the difference. We are here with you. We are here because of you. We are here because we love you and we feel connected with you. So celebrate that.
Yes,
yes. And beloved ones, we're going to be back on air live tomorrow at noon Pacific time.
And all of you in the call board who we did not get to today, call in early tomorrow. We will get to as many of you as we can.
And until we have that joy of being with you live again,
do the practice.
May you know, may you trust, may you breathe and smile, and remember that all is truly well.
Namaste.